my brother? What's going on?
Good. I hear you're driving. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Good. So I just want to I just want you to talk about your school, and I'm going to put it on my podcast called Bridges Live with Dr. Paul. And I just want to hear more about what you're doing in your school.
Okay. So we started, my wife and I, we started the school as a homeschool in our basement in 2008. We had a 2-year-old boy, Aquaman, who is now 16 in Howard. So we decided to build an African-centered curriculum for him. So we went from there to allowing other students to come in. We started with 5 students, including my son.
So
we knew the importance. Yeah, go ahead.
What was your purpose? I mean, we knew that, you know, teaching young black boys and young black girls is not being adequate in our school systems. We know that, and you and your wife saw the need for that. And when you started in Chicago, what was some of the things that you had to get up against for you to start your school? Because I think we need to follow your model.
Yeah. Well, the main challenge that we had then, and we also are faced with now, are parents. Parents are the number one detriment to our children in that they don't actually believe that our children have the capacity and the capability to do great things academically. So when we show them what the curriculum entails, a pre-med, pre-law, pre-engineering for first, second, and third graders, it's almost looked at as an impossible feat because we don't believe, you know, what the capabilities are for our children. So that disbelief stunts the growth of children because they constantly, you know, give excuses on why they can't do it, and why I can't get to school on time, and why we couldn't complete the homework. Excuses. So those things, if I would have parents who were 100% on board, it would go a lot easier for me. But I spend a lot of time, you know, trying to convince the parents, even when they're even enrolled in the school, trying to convince them that it can work, it can work, it can work.
Marcus, I'd like to first thank you for being on Bridges Live, but here's the problem I have. We have a beaten black community that has been economically broke for so many years. They've been enslaved mind for so many years. And then when we see a school that knows that our children can thrive, when we see businesses that we know that we need to develop, when we see opportunities that we know we need to do, we're still struggling with the slave-minded mentality that you have to talk to every day in parents. This is ridiculous.
Right. But see, we gotta look at it from this point of view as well. You brought up a slave mentality, so some of those same things that we were injected as kidnapped Africans. I don't call ourselves a slave. We were kidnapped Africans.
Yeah.
Those same things that we were injected with, it still is not just laying dormant, but it still is active today. One of them is, you know, we've been faced with stereotypes where African men, they haven't been traditionally school owners. So typically, parents are used to paying white men for tuition, then white women, and then after that, sisters. But now it's a black man owning the school. Now you have to pay that black man's tuition when there's still some type of friction between us and sisters. So that's another element you have to add to the pot. So now it's like, okay, well, I don't really got to pay him on time because, you know, he ain't white. He ain't a woman, and he a black male, so I don't really got to pay him on time, and I won't. So those same things, and even those standards that's, you know, given to white institutions, they're not given, they don't place me on those same standards. You know what I mean? So that's another challenge that we have, you know, getting tuition from parents.
Okay, so Marcus, you've had the school for how long? You started it with you and your wife in your basement, and when did that start?
Well, we officially started in 2008.
Okay.
So 2008, January, we actually opened our doors. We were doing one-on-one homeschooling, showing showing different parent techniques in 2007. We didn't officially start the actual school till 2008 January.
So did you?
We moved.
Did you start it out as like a homeschooling school?
We did. We started off in our basement. We
Okay.
started as a homeschool.
Okay.
Yep.
I see the model. So here's the now. I am just kind of sick by the whole people, but then again, I have my own business. I understand that most people I have problems paying me are black people. It's the most ridiculous thing, and I do holistic care. They rather go pay a doctor because they got insurance to pay for them to get pills than for them to do the work that that they have to do with me.
Right.
But
correct.
Here's what is our solution? So you and your wife and friends that you've sat around and talked to, we got to look at this as a solution based. What is the solution that you can see that we need to interject so we can start doing that so everyone else can roll on? What is the solution?
Well, that's a good question, and the answer is relatively simple. The blueprint has already been set. Onion Palmer had well, he still has, even though he's an ancestor now. And Palmer had the Garvey School in Los Angeles, which was the blueprint for me. After my wife and I saw his school, we wanted to build something similar or even identical to him. So the blueprint has already been set. We're just adding on to it. We added on medical, we added on legal, entrepreneurship, engineering. We just added on to it. So the solution is clear. If we follow the blueprint that was laid out before, right, we have to teach the parents as vigorously as we teach the students, because when the students leave me, it has to be compounded with that same education when they get home, right?
Right.
So when they come in, now they're still ready as they were when they left. So by teaching them knowledge of self, culture, coupled with a rigorous curriculum, that's a solution to our problem. Because culture only acts as guidelines and answers questions for us that we may, typically turn to a European set. But now since we're teaching them African culture, it answers questions for those young males and those young women too. So if we couple all that together, we mix all that together in a pot, and we come out with the cake, and the cake is revolution. Like, we need liberation for our children and the next generation. We're not teaching children to go out and be status quo. I'm not teaching a child, our doors open at 7 a.m. and we're done at 6. So I don't spend 9 hours teaching children to be status quo, to go back into the system and make the system operate in ways that we want it to benefit us. No, we don't do that. So we're teaching children to be revolutionaries. Political thought, Frantz Fanon, Dr. Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party. So we consistently teach not just culture, but political awareness, social responsibility. We have a business law class. So when the students learn about how to buy real estate in the 3rd and 4th grade, they have ideas of building real estate to serve our people, as opposed to building real estate to make them $1 million and be rich capitalists. So it's more than just a school. To us, it's more than just an incubator for the state. We try to build students to be global leaders. We always say that the converse of the Rothschild, Nathan Rothschild, he had 5 sons. He took his sons and placed them in areas in Europe to control the finances in those countries.
Correct.
We turned it the other way around. And said we want to build young Africans who control not just the finances, but they control political awareness, political thought all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And we can do that. Even if making it pragmatic, we go from theory to practice. Those works that we read, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, his works, like I said before, Frantz Fanon, we reading all these works. Well, that's just theory. We have to make it practical. We make it pragmatic. What do we need to build a nation of our own? We need engineers, we need lawyers, we need doctors. So we build those students at the school with curriculum. The solution is good.
So you're right. The solution has been there. The blueprint has been there. Just to give you a little bit of a backdrop for me, I'm a Chicago-born Cook County child. My father was a Black Panther in Chicago in the '60s. So that's where I get my fight from. My mother was a civil rights fighter in Chicago. I mean, so.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a background.
Yeah. I have the background of digging in the dirt and standing in front and then moving forward. But I know a lot of people don't have that education, and I know a lot of people don't have that type of thought process. I get that. That's why I like to do shows. That's why I like to do a lot of education myself, and I like to teach through the emotional mind, because I believe the emotional mind is what's locked up. It has locked up the physical form that we call the body.
Yeah. And I think, too, and what you say is absolutely correct. I think, too, would it be a good point, remember, if we don't bring this up, even if we talk about that political awareness and that self-consciousness and that self-identity, a lot of us, as African people, for one, we don't like to be called African. So when those people come to the school, I like those individuals who come to the school and they're not aware of Marcus Garvey.
Right.
Much about Malcolm. They don't know much about anything political. That's cool, because those turn out to be my best picks.
Yep.
They aren't attracted to the culture of the politics. You know what attracts them? Their child being able to read and do math. You know what I mean? So that is the total equalizer. So when the child comes in and the parent is like, okay, cool, I don't know anything about Marcus. I know nothing about the magazine he used to produce, talks about political awareness and culture and all that. I just want my son and my daughter to be able to read. We're cool. I love that, because the so-called conscious parents, they're so entrenched into correcting things that they know very little about.
Yeah.
But they like to exercise. Fake pregnant. So it's like, okay, but Mom, I got some ideas for you. Maybe you should. A conscious parent, they always want to add things, but when they had opportunity to create something, they'd rather pass it off out of default, let someone else teach. But now, male, they feel, okay, cool, I can make some corrections to this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to correct it. I'm going to make his stuff better, because it's not good enough. It's not good enough. So the conscious parents are not the parents that I look forward to bringing to my school. It's those parents who get the bus every day, take 2 hours for them to get to school, another hour to get to work, but they're dedicated to the process. Those so-called conscious parents, they've given me the most challenge, brother, and that's just to be brutally honest.
Well, and I get it. I understand what you're saying. A lot of people who think they know and they know very little, they want to have an opinion on the little things that they do know. And the opinion is cool, but they want to make changes. You can have an opinion, but you want to make changes. I'm like, hold on. Well, first of all, you just got here, So, but yeah. So where's the school located? I know it's called the Freedom School. I know you're in Chicago, but let people know where you're located at. And I know we need funds. We all need funds. We all need to support each other. We know we need to support this community that we're building. So let people know where that is.
Okay, great. We're on the south side. Now, first off, it's not called the Freedom School because it's already Freedom Schools that was started by the party. A couple of them still around on the west side of Chicago. So we're not called the Freedom School. We're called Freedom Home Academy International.
Okay.
We have 5 schools in the city of Chicago. We have a nursery school, which is AKGS, African Genius for the nursery. My baby boy, who's in the back of the car right now, he attends there. We had to start nursery because I had him. Then Freedom Home Academy is the flagship. That's the elementary school, grades 1 through 4. And then we have the preschool, which is the school of literacy. I started that in 2010 because we saw a need for children. Daycare centers were doing us a disservice. So we decided to open up our own. And then we have the high school, which is in Nkrumah International Academy. And that starts 5th grade through 12th. So those schools are fully functional. They're we're licensed with the State of Illinois Board of Ed. Credits transferable. they want to take a look at the website, that's freedomhomeacademyinternational.org, or shortened to be FHAINTL.org, or just type in Freedom Home Academy right in Chicago. We have a Detroit school as well. We work on the Atlanta school now, as well as Boston. So we're able to expand and reach out. We also purchased some acreage in Ghana 2 years ago, so we want to start working on that in 2020.
I have some connections in Ghana, but let me ask you this: I'm in Maryland and Baltimore and D.C. You know, this place is a mess. So have you guys talked to the people in Baltimore and in the area, the D.C. area?
We have. I've been in communication with a couple of cats in B-More, Tubman City, as well as in D.C. I'm closer to finalizing something in D.C. before Baltimore, though. I got a couple of connections that have some real estate who would like to donate to us. So we've been in communication with that over the last couple of weeks. But we're definitely coming that way in 2020. It's just a matter of, like you said earlier, like the resources, like getting the finance and the resources together. You know, but we definitely coming.
So my deep connections in with the martial arts community, and I'm not sure if you've talked to some of the martial arts brothers to help you out there to tag into the schools with the students.
I would like to. I haven't, but I would like to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's part of that science and that education that we tap into the mind, not just the body, but the spirituality of it too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know, like we mentioned earlier, Moses Powell.
Yes, sir.
You know, he was,
I trained under him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm one of his direct students of Moses.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, because we speak very highly of him. Like I was telling you about SDK, the brother who teaches martial arts at our school, SDK. You know, he was taught under Moses Powell as well, so. But yeah, if you know some connections, I'll reach out. I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. You know, I don't shy away from any of that, man, because the main objective is for us to expand and to share this idea and these concepts with children all over the planet.
So, Marcus, I'd like to say thank you so much. I know you're a busy man, and you took the little time out to visit with me and Bridges Live and talk with Dr. Paul, and I just love it. And, of course, we send our blessings, but we don't just need blessings. We need hands and work. So
that's right.
That's right. What's if you had to look for something you're asking for it, not just praying for, but you're asking for, what is the next thing you need besides money? Is it land? Is it resources? Is it books? Is it what?
Absolutely. Books. I'm going to shoot the address out for brothers and sisters that's interested in donating some books to our library. We have one nice-sized library on campus. The address is 9501 South Dorchester. We're there in Chicago at Illinois 60628. You can make that to Freedom Home Academy. Any books that you would like to donate, we would love that. Of course, pencils, pens, all the things that, a school needs. We need those same things.
So,
Expo markers, dry erase, yep.
So,
we go through those like one.
I want to hear about the pushback you're getting from not just us school, but from not just parents. We know we have troubles with our parents, but what's the pushback you are getting?
Actually, we haven't. We haven't been getting any pushback. We haven't. We've been able to do, but we pretty much under the radar. I don't do any advertising. The 125 students we have now are through word of mouth. We don't do a lot of advertising. I like to stay under the radar. I like to do things, a little kind of surreptitiously. Because I understand that it's a war going on against not just African Center education, but black people in particular, and us, in general. So I don't really like to, put too much out there. It's kind of like a fine line I like to walk. Because I have to advertise, I have to let people know what I'm doing and what we're doing. But at the same time, I have to be real scientific on how I advertise. So we really don't do any traditional advertising. So I haven't really had too much pushback. It's been pretty smooth for the last 12 years. We've had our bumps. We still have them. You know what I'm saying? We always have them. But as far as like protracted pushback. We haven't had any of that.
Now, I know a lot. The last statistic I just recently heard, there's about 60% of black men out of unemployment or not employed in Chicago.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Well, it's similar to what happened in Detroit in the 80s. You know what I'm saying, with the big three. I'm from Detroit. So coming up in the 80s, you know, you had the crack epidemic and you had the big three filing for bankruptcy. So, of course, you know, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, and they all went out of, well, they didn't go out of business, but they started laying off. So at the same time they started laying off, here comes crack. You know what I'm saying? So we know that was by design. But the same thing happening here. We're being inundated with drugs, the drug culture. Children are seeing drug culture on television, they're seeing it in videos, and they're listening to it on the radio. So coupled with the fact that we're not just unemployed, we're even underemployed. You know what I'm saying? The working class is you know, working to stay poor. You know what I'm saying? So all those elements cooked up a nice pot, and the consequence of that, of course, is violence. Now, some of that violence is actually perpetrated, you know, by law enforcement. But at the same time, we as a people, we need to come together and start creating jobs for our team. We have to. You know, they have 75,000 teenagers are homeless in Chicago. 75,000.
75,000.
75,000.
Not 7,500. 75,000.
Between the ages of 10 and 19, homeless in Chicago, right? Now that's a workforce. That's People's Army right there. So if we were able to, as an example, we just bought a paper machine where we can manufacture toilet paper and paper towels, right? So if we can do, let's say we can do 5 of those machines, which is relatively cheap. It ran us $19,000, right? $19,000 isn't a lot of money. We can put 7 teenagers to work, 16, 17, 18-year-olds to work, giving them $18, $19 an hour. At the same time we're in school, we can give them GED. At the same time, we can teach them plumbing, electrical work, and carpentry after school, right? So that's just me. What if we had 35 or 40 young brothers, not even young brothers, don't even crash that, brothers who have resources to do the same thing in the city of Chicago? We could make a dent. We could put a dent in that 75,000 number. Because once we start employing them, they'll start buying other products, wanting to start their own businesses, graduating from high school, even going to college or taking a trade. I think that that centralized, focused idea of entrepreneurialism is not just one way out, but it could be definitely a viable plan for a long-term solution. You know?
But Marcus, you must have talked to 1 or 2 other people. Are they doing action work? I don't need ideas. I don't need, this is a great idea. Are people that you have talked to doing action?
Yeah, the people I'm in close communication with, they are doing it. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. You know, I was talking to one of my brothers today, and I was like, I know I'm a minority in this belief, but man, that plant, man, weed, cat smoking weed. Look, I'm 50, so it's like all the cats I know that get high. I know a lot of brothers that get high. It does something to the motivational piece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making any blanket indictments at all. You know what I'm saying? But I know from what I've witnessed, cats that get high, they don't really have like that motivation where I can sleep 3 hours and just get this work done. I don't really see that. And I could be wrong. I could be, I could be oversimplifying it, but man, it's something that's happening, man. Brothers just don't have that same like drive that we had like in the 90s and the early 2000s is something that's happening to the motivational spirit with cats, man. And a lot of it I see, man, we spend a lot of time getting high, man, like straight up trying to escape, you know what I mean? So that was just a cursory assessment. I may be wrong though, but man, like I talked to a lot of cats with ideas, but they've been having these same ideas for years, and they haven't been able to make those ideas manifest. You know, and a lot of them I know they get high.
Well, I tell you, you know what? I'm in my 50s too, and maybe because I'm in a whole other different plane, I get it, and that's why I try to talk to their emotional mind, because I really think they're locked up. I really think that with that high, that's something, that's a contributing factor, that's a catalyst. But if you also have a locked up mind, an emotional mind, there's no way you can function.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. But you know, that mentorship program, that mentorship piece is very important too.
It is.
Like
it's huge.
Young cats definitely they need someone who already has the foot in, who's already experienced those things to aid them, even from a business standpoint. You know, they got a lot of ideas, but they need someone to help mold it, you know, help nurture that, you know, and you know, we pretty much miss it. There's a lot of mentorship programs here in Chicago that's very viable, but we need them in more in mass, because shorties, man, they need guidance, brother. Like
so
dropping out of school. Yeah.
So you know what? I've been talking with a couple of people for about over a couple months. Anyway, I've been doing the show for a while, but I've been really focusing on. Have you been to the churches in the neighborhoods and asked them for their support?
Well, I haven't, because I'm really, well, you know, my position, man, I ain't really asking people to support me. I let them see the product. You know, I have a product. If they like the product, they'll send their children. You know, I really don't go around, you know, asking people for things. I mean, I'm not good at that. There's some people that's good at that. I'm not. I don't really like asking.
Well, here's the thing.
You know,
and here's my point. I kind of think that the churches dropped the ball. I think the churches who had all of us going to them and praying for help instead of doing dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And for many reasons, they dropped the ball. They asked us to come out and march and do all this in the early 60s, but then they dropped the ball with our education in schools.
Yeah, I agree. And you know that because young black males aren't in the church.
Right.
You know, young black males aren't attracted, you know, to that ideology. But at the same time, the church, like you said, they were a valuable commodity during the late 60s. I mean, even the 50s. Historically, in churches, you know, those were the epicenter for all political activity. You know, but like you said, it came a time where they no longer became viable. They became another apparatus for the state. The state used the church, you know, in particular, you know, politicians.
To pacify blacks. The state used the church
absolutely.
to pacify blacks and put them to sleep.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
They actually put them on their knees, is what they did.
That's right. Figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
For the real. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Marcus. I will be in touch personally. I'd like to thank you for being on Bridges Live with Dr. Paul. If I know we're going to be more in touch and more in contact, because there's so much work out here to do. I know there's people in North Carolina I talk to that are going through the same thing, and brothers who are doing so many things around the United States and in the world. They're doing so many great things, and there are pockets of them. We got to pull together, because collectively we're a strong group of men. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. And you've been steadfast on trying to get me on, and I'm glad I was able to get it together and come on the show. So, man, whatever you need me, need anything here in Chicago, brother, then feel free to give me a call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm going to send you a link to a friend of mine who's right there working in Chicago also. Just try to connect some networks and get some work done. God bless you, brother.
Okay. God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Bridges Live. That was Marcus. And there's so much work that we need to do, and there's so much opportunity for us to do out here. The show is not just about what we can highlight and what you can understand. I want you to take this very personally. There is absolutely a systematic war going on against the black race, the African race, and the only way to break this is to stop it, to stomp it out, to educate the minds of 75,000 homeless children in Chicago. You think about that. Thank you for listening to Bridges Live. I'm Dr. Paul. You can always catch me on iHeart and iTunes. And you can also sponsor the show anytime you want to. You can contact me on Dr. Paul W. Dyer at gmail.com, drpaulholisticscience.com. Thank you. And you guys have a blessed day. Only together we can work together to build together so we can live together peacefully, wholly, completely.